watch a short video with some information, and then it's time then for our guest to take the floor.
Good afternoon from me, from Zadar. It's lovely to have you all here with us, and we will just share a short information video with all of you, if I can get it started.
I don't know about the rest of our participants, but I couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
there was no sound.
Okay. I think there's a problem with the sound today and with Teams, but the picture was fine though. Yes.
Actually,
Okay.
it was the most important thing, just to see and to read some information. Thank you, Anita. And before we go on, I would like to invite our guest, Chiara, to turn on her camera. And then I will...
Sorry, isn't the camera on? Because I can see it.
I can't see. Now it is. Now I can see.
Okay.
So Teams is a little bit sleepy today. Hi, dear Chiara. Welcome, Chiara Sabatini from Italy. Chiara is an English teacher in a high school in Terniju. She's also Erasmus Plus School Ambassador, which is actually the same as an eTwinning ambassador for her region, Umbria. She loves exploring the world around her, she says, and she likes reading and chocolate. I'm there with you, Chiara. Chiara has been my eTwinning project partner and friend now for years, I think. Over some 7 years, I think, ago, we met on the platform, right, Chiara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, and wish you all a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you, Chiara. Chiara and I didn't meet so long ago, not as long ago as Alenka and Šimac, but we met through Alenka, and at the moment we are coordinating and participating in a great project on a topic that is very close to my heart. Even though I'm a STEM teacher, I fully believe the importance of social and emotional learning is very important, no matter what subject you teach. So the project we are working on at the moment is all about mindfulness. It's called Mindfulness Matters. Chiara's students are a little bit older than ours, but she will maybe in a short introduction tell us about where she works in the school that she works at and her students, because it's a very interesting class that she teaches. Yes, so I'm looking forward to an hour of being mindful with Alenka and Chiara and with all of our participants being in the moment.
Yeah. I think we're a living proof how eTwinning actually connects people, no matter where you live. I met Chiara even before Anita, although Anita is from Croatia, and now all three of us are in the same project. Wonderful people on eTwinning. So yeah, also looking forward to your presentation today, Chiara. Thank you for joining us.
So Chiara,
and the floor is yours, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I just wanted to say that Chiara, we're very happy to have you with us, and the concept Alenka and I had of these webinars was to connect even more people through eTwinning, and a lot of Croatian colleagues are joining us today, but there are colleagues from other countries. I've seen from Romania and from Macedonia and other. I'll have a look in the chat while we're speaking.
Yeah, it would be great to share in the chat where you are from.
And then Chiara, what we'll do is about halfway through, Alenka and I will stop you, let you have a breather from your presentation, and ask you a few questions maybe that we have or that the participants have. But yeah, so the floor is yours. I'm keeping quiet now. So welcome and thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me, first of all. And yes, as Alenka has just said, we met through eTwinning some years ago. Maybe I don't actually remember how many years now, but if I remember correctly, we had a project on chocolate too. I mean, chocolate was involved a little bit in that project. So then we actually met in person in Rhodes, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on. And as Anita was saying, I am an English teacher in a high school. This school is a technical technological school. We have mainly boys. Their age is from 14 to 19 years old. And they, the first 2 years of this school, they study general subjects like mother tongue and maths, physics, chemistry, English, of course, and some physical education, religious education. But then they also study more specific subjects like electronics, mechanics, computer information, and chemistry again. And the class I'm involving in this project together with Alenka and Anita is a class who is already studying and will be studying mechanics. And later on, I'll tell you a little bit more about it too. So just something more about myself is I've been teaching English for maybe 15 years in a middle school, meaning that the students are from 11 to 14 years old. And now it's been 2 years I've been teaching to older students. As you know, I'm an eTwinner, and I wanted to take eTwinning with me. So I started having projects even with older students, and they enjoy having these projects a lot, mainly because English for them in this way is real, because it's you know, practice with real people. It connects people. Okay. So maybe I shall, anytime you, I mean, if you have a question, you might write it on the chat, and then Anita and Alenka can stop me anytime you want to. And otherwise, I'll keep on talking for ages. No, you just feel free to stop me whenever you want to, okay? If you want to ask questions, say something, no problem at all. I'll try to share my presentation. Okay, just tell me if you can see it. Is it okay? Can you see it?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, good. So how it all started. It was 2010 in Southampton, and it was July. I was having a training course for English teachers, and one of the teachers mentioned eTwinning. I didn't know anything about it, and I was curious. So when I came back in September, I started searching for this platform, and I discovered really a world. So it really was actually by chance, because the teacher who mentioned eTwinning to me stopped teaching after some months and changed job. So actually we couldn't work together, but I met a lot of amazing people. And my first project was a very paper-based project, because in quite many schools, we were exchanging postcards from our countries. And we started with a European Day of Languages, just with greetings. And then each month, we sent postcards with photos of our schools, photos of our villages, photos of our countries. And we used technology mainly to write, and then we printed the information and sent by snail mail the postcards to the other partners. Though we started using forums and the Twin Space, and we could exchange something, but it wasn't too much technology involved in that project. So this was how I started, from something very easy to handle somehow. And after a while, I was involved in a project on music. As an English teacher, I use songs in my classes, both with younger students and with older students. And this was a very nice project, because I started giving them songs with activities, but then they created their own activities on songs. And so did the students in the other countries. And we exchanged activities. And again, most of these activities, as you can see, these are drawings. No computer involved again here, but then we used it a little bit more. We created a songbook at the end of this project with songs and activities and links to videos, and it became a teaching material. So as you can see here, students drew a maze, kind of a maze, and then some smarter ones used the PC and created another game. It was fun, because during this project we had video online meetings with other students and played together. And from that moment on, sorry, I forgot to say, I put it that in the title, but I forgot it. With this project, we got the eTwinning National Prize in Italy. And it was a great achievement, and it motivated both me, the other colleagues who helped me, and students to go on with eTwinning projects. It really motivated us a lot, and we went on. And from that moment on, I started having all my classes involved in eTwinning projects. I used to teach to 6 groups, 6 different classes. And I started with 2 projects per year, and then I went on with a project for each class, meaning more or less 6 projects a year. Sometimes I joined 2 classes together, because I felt like not really whole, but it was nice to have all my students have the same chances. So at a certain point, I couldn't choose a class over another. And that's why I try to have an eTwinning project in each of my classes. And then I had a lot of other projects during the year. And how have I met the partners? As Alenka told you in the beginning, we met in eTwinning, and I met a lot of other partners in learning events. As you know, eTwinning offer these learning events, which are training courses. And during these events, you work like students work in our eTwinning project, meaning in mixed nationality groups, so that you have the chance to meet other teachers from our countries. And then you can meet teachers during webinars, like the one we are having now. And of course, you meet people in person if you have the chance to go to national and international eTwinning conferences. And I was really lucky because I could go to several national conferences in Italy and to some international conferences, like the one in Cannes some years ago. It was 2019. And then I had a great opportunity, thanks to eTwinning. That was professional development workshop in Rhodes. So I was there for some days where I met Alenka in person. So we had been running an eTwinning project together, and finally we really met. And I also had the chance to meet other partners there. And then, as Alenka said at the beginning, you become friends with the partners you work with. Some years ago, for example, I went to France and I went to visit one of my French partner. And the same happened with a Swedish teacher who last year came on holiday to Italy, and we met just, as friends. And this is something that you don't really find anywhere else. eTwinning helps you bond among students, but also among teachers. And this is an added value, in my opinion, because when you work with someone you become friends with, you are at ease, you feel really free to express your opinion. If you have problems in doing an activity, then you adjust, the timetable. You can change things, and it's really nice and really great working like this. And as we also are an eTwinning school, we held courses for teachers, both of our school, and teachers of our other schools too. So, and this also is a way to connect, to share ideas, to share experiences, but also to find other partners for your projects. And so I can say that professional development really played a big role in my eTwinning experience, because I learned a lot of things. I wasn't very good at computer technology. I wasn't really very experienced. I didn't know how to use many of the tools or the applications that now we use every day, and I learned it thanks to partners during, while having a project, or thanks to learning events and training courses held by eTwinning, and they are all free courses. So then, as I was saying, as eTwinning helps you to connect with partners, to become friends, you also have the chance to go forward a little bit. And I had the experience to take part in an Erasmus project that came from an eTwinning project. So we met in eTwinning, and actually I had this Erasmus project with the very first project, the one I showed you. So it was a long time of working together, and at last we had the chance to have this Erasmus project, which was about a healthy lifestyle. And we talked about mindfulness a lot during that project, well-being, and I didn't know what mindfulness was until we had the Erasmus project, which was in 2018. So it was uncovering something even for me and for some other teachers. So having eTwinning projects is not just having our students learning new things, but it's also something that we teachers learn. And as I was telling you, the first projects where I used mainly papers during the first project, and then we went forward and used technology a lot. I didn't know this big collage that you are saying. I mean, 10, 20, I mainly use the computer to write as a typewriter, and then internet to search for information, and just some other tools and apps. But then now we are full of these tools, which also help us not just during eTwinning project, but even in our everyday teaching. So this was now some projects that we are having now. One of the projects is the one Anita was talking to you about, this mindfulness matters. And this is a quite particular project because, as I told you, I teach students who are studying mechanics. Well, they will be mechanics, they will repair cars, but they might also become engineers, who knows. And they are all boys. And the first time I told them that we were going to have this kind of project, I expected like a non very positive reaction, let's say, okay? But they started, and it was nice because we started with kind of a game. It was a photo hunt. So we shared some photos of the place where we live, and then they had to discover this place, where was this place, and it was really fun. Then we went on talking about kindness. I think you can imagine a group of 20 boys, much taller than me and much larger than me, talking about kindness. But it was really great because I didn't think they would have liked this kind of activities, but they did. And precisely this morning, I let them color a mandala using their iPads. And when we started this activity this morning, they told me, "Teacher, this is really nice." And I was astonished, amazed. I was there. I couldn't, believe it, because I expected them to tell me, "Oh, teacher, what are we doing? It's something for little kids." Instead, they colored it. They were really creative with the colors. And at the end of the activity, they thanked me because they liked being relaxed. They said, "We always do a lot of things, and today we had some time to relax and to talk about it in English." I always want them to use English, but of course we had to say something in Italian, because when feelings are involved, they prefer talking in Italian, but they could manage to say something in English as well. So they loved doing the activity. We had music while working, and they asked me, "Teacher, can we send these drawings to our partners from Croatia and from the other school?" And then I said, "Of course." And this is something that really pleased me a lot, because they wanted to share their work with these other guys. Meanwhile, we had an online meeting, and things changed, because they now expect maybe to be friends is a bit too much, but to be connected with these students as much as they can. So we are really creating a bond among them. And another project I'm running at the moment is a more literary project, if we can say so, and it's portraits. This project started reading the portrait of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And they read the book, they kind of prepared some summaries, as you can see here. Here you can see two colors, black and blue, and this means that they are students from France and Italy working at the same passage. And these links you see here are games, online games, created with an app that is called Learning Apps. You might be familiar with it. So each international group read a chapter, wrote a summary, and then created games for other students to read. So they worked together both in groups in their class in Italy, but also with mixed nationality groups. And another activity in this project is creating an escape room. And they're really enjoying this activity here. And while I was preparing this presentation, I thought back to the postcards I show you as a first project and the escape room that we are working on now. And as I already told you, I learned a lot from my students too, because they usually come up with ideas and also tools to use. And okay, I mentioned online meetings several times. We sometimes have online meetings with teachers to organize the activities, to get to know each other a little bit, but also among students. And this is one of the activities my students like the most, because they can use a language, in this case is English, to communicate with real people. And, it happens that they are a bit shy at the beginning when they start talking with the others, and are also a bit ashamed because they think that they are not good at English. But when an online meeting ends, the first question is, can we have another one? When do we have another one? So it really is important to let students have online meetings because it motivates them both for the activities of the project and in learning the language, in being willing of learning the language, because they really see the reason why to learn a language even more. And another thing that happened to me some days ago, with a class while having an online meeting. We had an online meeting with girls in Norway, and again, this class is mainly boys. Of course, they were excited. They were happy to see blonde, tall girls, and one of these girls was wearing a top with short sleeves, like a t-shirt. And after the meeting, one of my boys asked me, "Teacher, but I thought that girls in other countries would have wore different clothes." He thought that the girls were all covered from top to bottom. I said, well, it's not like this everywhere. And from that sentence, we started talking about multicultural environments and about different cultures. So it really opens their minds and it let them see that the world is not that small place they live. I don't know, but I think it happened to you too. Due to COVID, we had to stay home for years, and these kids didn't have the chance to have school trips. So they stayed home. They didn't go on holiday that much in the past 3 years. And I think that this is another very important aspect of eTwinning, that is to let them know that the world is bigger. It's not just the four walls you are in your house or at school.
Chiara?
Yes.
Shall we have a few minutes for some questions?
Yes, sure. I'll try to, okay, here, so I can see you better.
Okay, no problem. I have just a few questions. First of all, I wanted to ask, how difficult do you find it motivating older boys specifically to get involved? I know you said that you were a bit surprised at how they reciprocated and how involved they got in the Mindfulness Matters project. But in general, do you think it's wrong to assume that teenage boys are uninterested in this kind of project work?
No, they are not. I mean, maybe they are not, they don't, if they don't know these kind of projects, they can be a little bit, let's say, suspicious at the beginning. But when they realize that you work outside the book, let's say, you know, that you work in groups, that you work maybe in, I have another project which is on sport this year, and we are searching for information about sports champion. They love it, you know, and they like the way of working, they like the topics, and I think it's not very difficult to motivate them with this kind of activities, because there is a lot of interaction. There is interaction between students, but also between you and the students, and you can build a relationship with them, which is different than if you only use the book.
Yeah, I agree. But do you work with colleagues from your school in projects? What is it like in general in your school, in your local community, and eTwinning Italy, for example? Do you find you have a lot of support from the national agency, from your colleagues? You mentioned quite a few times how you feel a part of the community and you're happy to be a part of this community. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that, perhaps?
Yeah, okay. The national agency is, there are great people in the national agency. Anytime you send an email or maybe even a message on Messenger, they respond immediately. And they really give us a lot of support. Even these days with this new platform, which is creating a lot of issues to all of us, they really are there to support us anytime. And as working together with other teachers in the same school, sometimes in some school was a bit difficult. I was the only one in all the school, because the school maybe wasn't very big, but also because not everybody is willing to spend time planning and having this kind of activities. I mean, this is the truth. But in the school I am now, a lot of teachers are involved in eTwinning projects, and not only language teachers, but also, for example, in one of the projects I'm in, I have a lot of support from my physical education teacher. And in the past projects, I worked a lot with art teachers. But this is not very easy at the beginning. You know, you have to stay in a school for a while. At least this was my experience. After some years, I got to know the colleagues, and they were willing to help and also to be involved. In this new school, it's easier for me because they were already an eTwinning school, and there were a lot of teachers working in eTwinning, and our head mistress is really, really happy, and she kind of forces new teachers to know the platform, and she's the one who wanted me and another colleague to hold the course for all the teachers of the school. So this school is easier. Everything is easier.
But if I think it's easier. You made a point there, because of your headmistress. She gives you the support as well. She trusts you. I was speaking to somebody yesterday about how easy I find it in my school, and I think it's really important that there is that mindset colleagues and, you know, the people who head the school, that they are open to any suggestions or ideas you have. I usually say, I don't know if Alenka has this experience as well, but I usually say it's, that the headmaster usually accepts anything I say. I'm always a little bit suspicious. Whatever idea I have, he says okay. So I think it's very important that you have this support for your work and understanding as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But on the other hand, it's also true that you don't have to give up. Okay, so as I said, I was in schools where I was the only one. But when you start, it's very difficult to give up. I mean, you see that the students who are willing to do these kind of activities, they learn more this way, and they learn in a better way, and the environment in the class is different. We are having this mindfulness project now, and well-being is fostered through working in eTwinning, because even the teacher are more relaxed. At least I feel more relaxed when I work on topics that can involve everybody. Something else I didn't say is that working like this is very inclusive. It's easier to let every kind of student work. This year I have a student who is a special need student, and thanks to the eTwinning activities, he works a lot, and he is very shy, and he doesn't want people to be around him, to touch him. And since we started working with one of the projects, they have the sport project. He has started to call me, and I can't touch him, okay? He doesn't want me to be too near him, but he talks to me, and then he calls me to go near him, and he wants to participate. So you see that it's a different perspective. Of course, they introduce themselves, so they say, hello, my name is, and blah, 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 and which is the same thing that you find in books, isn't it? So they talk about the town, about the school, about their experiences, but doing it with students from our countries, with real people, this makes the difference.
It's a big motivation for them. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a question.
Yeah.
How do you balance family and work? I think this is a question we all struggle with, because projects require a lot of free time, and even though we all try to blend our projects with our curriculum, it's not always possible. That is the point of eTwinning projects, isn't it? Not to do too much work so that you can blend it in with the curriculum, but yet, you know, honestly, it does take more work. Do you find that you have through the years become quicker at what you do, or have you become more able to time? Learning how to time management, I think, is important. But
and let your students do whatever they can do. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, as for the curriculum, as I teach English and all the projects I have are in English, we usually don't have any problems, because you use the present, you use the past, you use the future, you use some vocabulary that you need to use, and this is not really a problem. And when we talk, for example, about sports people, you have the language that we normally use, you know. And for example, in the project I showed you earlier, the one on portraits, again, they have to describe things, describe paintings, and take selfies and describe themselves, and all these topics are in the books. Yeah, sometimes it is difficult to fit everything, but if you manage the time, you can do it. And when they work like this, they don't lose time because they like it. You know, they don't waste time. You don't have to waste time in telling them, please be silent, please work on this, please do that. They do it because they like it. So, of course, you need to plan the activities, and you spend time at home in preparing the activities. But as I was saying, with some experience, you become a little bit quicker, and then you get help, a lot of help from other partners. And in the project we are having on mindfulness, Anita is really quick at everything. And really, this is, you know, it's nice to work together because you get help and ideas from each other. And if one of us can't do something, there is the other one who can help. And
Yeah.
and again, this supports you, but also motivates you to go on.
Yeah, I think I've become, not on purpose, but kind of throughout the years, I have this filter of where I kind of latch onto people that I learn from, that help me grow, as you're saying. And I always love learning from people. There's always something new to learn, something new I can do. And I like helping. I like helping people as well. So there's just one more quick question, and then we'll let you go on. Nicoletta asked, is there a secret when it comes to successful projects? Is there something that maybe you would, say it's good to do this, or do you even think that way when you start working on a project? Do you think of success or of prizes?
Not really, but I don't think about prizes. But to have a successful project, I learned that it is important to plan it together. I explain it a little bit. The first projects, some of the projects I just joined, project already made. And then I invited people to my projects, and I was the one deciding everything. Like, okay, I mean, not really deciding, but proposing things, Okay, in January, we do this activity, in February, we do this activity, and so on. And sometimes it didn't really work very well, even though we got awards like quality label, but the project wasn't really successful. Then I realized that it's important to plan together, to have these online meetings with teachers before starting working, or at least, having a shared document where writing ideas and not giving a plan already made to the other colleagues. So collaboration is the key to a successful project. And then it depends on what kind of activities. It can maybe win a national or an international prize, but that's not really my main goal. I love being involved in eTwinning projects because I want my students to realize that being part of something bigger is important.
Okay, that's it for the short 5 minutes that turned into 15.
That's no problem at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to, just a couple of more things. Okay. I'm sorry, this is in Italian, but I couldn't find the same thing in English. So 6 good reasons for eTwinning, or which I really, really agree on. You can share, you can collaborate and compare your ideas. As I said, both with teachers, but also with your students from your school, but also with students from other schools. and you are innovative in your way of teaching. You know, you learn from other teachers from our countries, and you can use techniques and strategies and activities in your classes. You are involved in a multicultural context, so your culture is not the only one. And I think we still need to stress, to underline this aspect nowadays. Somehow, when I started, I thought that at least I consider myself to be European, but I realized that we are really far from that. And it's important that we really have our students know that there are other culture, other people, other languages, other ways of living in the world. And then eTwinning is really a mine when it comes from training courses, webinars, and professional development. And as I said earlier, it is also free. So you don't have to pay a learning event or a training course. And meanwhile, you learn a lot. And as we said, it's motivating. It's motivating because it's motivating for us, for teachers, because when you see your students happy, even coloring a mandala, it really made your day. I mean, this morning, it really made my day, you know. And but it's also motivating for them and for any student. You know, some years ago, I had another special needs student, and he was very good at drawing. He didn't really talk much, not even in Italian, but he could draw very well. So we had a project where students wrote stories like tales, fairy tales, together with students from other countries, and this boy made the drawing. So he was part of the team as well, and he was very happy about it. And you know, it's something that it's important even for the students to see their mates, even the ones who have difficulties in doing what we all do, but being good at something. And, you know, that was really, really motivating, and it was important. And then another good reason is that it's quite easy now with this change of platform. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's not difficult really. And then we have a lot of support from our national agencies, and even the group of the ambassadors in my region and in all the Italian regions are very supportive of other teachers, especially towards the ones who are at the beginning. So it's really, sorry, what happened? If you're still thinking of joining eTwinning, I mean, or starting eTwinning projects, let it, you know, have a try. And then you'll tell Alenka and Anita, and they'll tell me what you did, what you decided. And as a last step, I prepared a kind of an activity. If you either go to this link or with this QR code, you can go here. Yes, it works. I'll go back so you can have, I just show it to you. I think you know it, but then I'll go back to the link. So here, this is similar to Padlet. Maybe you use it, I don't know. You leave a post if you feel like to, and take one, leave one, meaning leave an idea or for a project, for an activity, or a comment on the meeting, or maybe share the link to an IT tool that you use and you think it's really very interesting and useful with your students, and take one, meaning that if you, or even more than one actually, if you find something that you like, of course you take it. Okay, maybe we can, I don't know if we can leave some minutes for this activity, maybe 3-4 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have questions, you can ask questions.
Okay, I put the link in the chat so everybody can just click on it. I did try to scan it with my phone, but it asked for me to open an app, so I'm not sure.
It's okay. It's okay. I scanned it. It's
okay.
Fine. It's working. Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's a link in the chat as well, so people can post there.
And Chiara mentioned Padlet, and I have to say that actually Chiara brought Padlet into my life during one of the projects. Yeah, I know that. So Chiara, Padlet has been like one of your favorite tools, right? And
it's quite easy
too.
Yeah. So, but yes, really, through the years, I learned a lot of things, and how to use a lot of different tools, not just from other teachers, but even from the students.
Yes.
They sometimes come up with something that you never even imagine.
Of course, and more and more with every day, I think, and it's a great actually way to give them this opportunity and freedom to choose what they are familiar with, to learn from them, and to use it in a meaningful way, just to show them that you can also use digital tools to learn something, to be creative, to share, as you mentioned before, with your project partners. It's really, really great to show them that actually digital life and online life is something that has become a part of their lives too. So
yes, and I also think that it is important for them to teach you something, because it's you are more normal before their eyes if they can teach you something, and then again you can build a meaningful relationships, and so then you can even ask them to study grammar. So if you have a good relationship with your students, then they trust you. If they trust you, they study more. At least this is my experience, and eTwinning had a really great part in this for me. So okay, let's share the screen again. Let's see if we have some wait a second. Okay, I don't know if can you see the maybe you can see it from here. Sharing is caring. That's a very nice sentence. Thank you. Okay.
We can see your presentation.
Okay. Wait a moment.
Then sharing the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. For our participants from abroad, please leave your name and your email address for your certificates of attendance, please, in the chat.
Maybe you can see better now.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Messages are like it. Yeah, Prezi is a nice tool as well, which I learned in eTwinning again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great place for learning, for sure.
Are there some tools that you find yourself using time and time again that have become maybe favorite tools? I know you mentioned Padlet, for example, but are there any others that you think are really great for eTwinning?
Yeah, for example, I love Flipgrid, which we use together, which allows students to post videos and also reply with a video, and it's really nice, that one. And there is another tool I use quite a lot, which is Three-Sider. I don't know if you are familiar with it. It's a tool where you can write a sentence and then discuss, kind of debate. If you can say, I agree with you, I don't agree with you. You can vote for an idea, and that's really nice too. And well, there are many. Genially, for example, too. And yeah, well, there are really a lot. Canva, for example. Okay. Oh, I should.
Yes, I've been using Canva also for quite some time now, and my daughter got a job, and the first tool that she used at her new job position was actually Canva.
Yeah, learning apps is, I love these learning apps too. And with this, my students create apps themselves, games themselves. And I think it's a great way to let them reflect upon maybe a passage they read, or a grammar rule, or maybe some content you want them to study. Because in creating a game for the others, they need to know the content. And this way, they really love it. It's quick, easy, and you can share it really very easily. And I use it a lot in eTwinning projects too. So yeah, lots of lots of ideas, and nice. And let me. Okay, the last was this thank you, and oh no, sorry, I like the picture. Okay, here it is. Okay, so the last picture was this thank you, and email if you need it. And I think we still have some time if you want to for other questions, or if you want to share experiences or any kind of comments.
I hope you don't mind, but I told everyone in the chat to find you on eTwinning.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't mind. I don't mind.
And to send you a friend request. So,
Chiara, how many projects are you involved in right now at the moment? Because you said you have a project per class, right?
Yes, at the moment I'm involved in 4. Let me count. Yes, 4 projects. Because 5 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects. Only one class is not having a project because I couldn't find anything for them, and then they have a lot of other projects, and so I help them with other projects, and another one would have been too much for them, because sometimes even if the topics we do are connected to their curriculum, if you ask them to prepare a video or a presentation or a game, it's time, it's time consuming for them. And as they were already involved in other projects where they had to create materials, I decided not to involve them. So it's 5 at the moment.
Okay, another thing just quickly before the meeting ends is, you mentioned professional development, and I think that's something that we tend to forget. We kind of associate eTwinning just with projects, but it's so much more than that. I know we have a lot of work in the classroom and with projects, but if there is just a little bit of spare time, I think the professional development that you can get from eTwinning is also very valuable. Do you still continue to do professional development via eTwinning after all these years?
Yes, I do. And sometimes I get rejected because, of course, they prefer people with no experience. So, but I do, as I told you before, both because I learn new things and also because I meet new people. And it's always important to meet new people in order to learn things, and I like it. And if I have time, and if they accept me, if they don't have too many people, I really enjoy having a learning event, but even webinars, you know, sometimes there are webinars which are free. I mean, you can, there are more places for webinars than in learning events. You can enjoy the webinars with no problems. And I think it's really important to listen to the experience of other teachers.
And I would like to say that you said one crucial sentence, a very short one, is that I like it. It's all about liking it for yourself and for your students. And then you forget about balancing your private life and projects. And you, of course, when you like it, you become quicker and quicker. And it's a joyful time actually in our classrooms,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes, and then something that is important is that you don't have to start with very difficult project activities can be simple things. And
Yes.
of course, if I have only one child, and now is almost 19. So in this moment, I can do whatever I want to. When he was younger, of course, I needed to be more time with him. So maybe I did easier things and less things. It's when you are involved in any twinning project, you don't have to put all your time there, you know. You can just have some activities, but again, it's important to let your students connect with other students.
Yes.
So even if you do an activity a month, or even 3 activities in a year, no matter, you know, the thing is that they need at least I don't know if any of you know Terniju, which is a town in the center of Italy. It's only 1 kilometer from Rome, but it's a quite small town. And here people tend to be very narrow-minded. So they need to open their minds. Even if they, you know, do 3 activities that are intercultural activities a year, I think it's better than nothing.
Yeah, they become aware of the world outside the frames they live in. Yes, that's great.
Yes.
So, Anita, maybe we can conclude with not only I like it, but we like it. So we hope that you got some inspiration and that you will also say in the future about eTwinning the same sentence as we, that we like it. So bye.
Thank you to Chiara, thank you to Alenka, and thank you to everyone who joined us in this hour of mindfulness with eTwinning, focusing on an hour of being in the moment. And we will see you next week when we continue with this series of webinars. There'll be guests from many other countries, but for now, should we say arrivederci?
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Ciao, Chiara.
Thank you for listening and for being here. Grazie.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and have a nice week.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye
Ciao,
then.
amici.
Carino.